Well, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 2 of My Desk Looks Great. All papers are on the kitchen counter. In this Facebook Live, I will be discussing the categories that we created as a result of the general organizing process discussed last week. I will tell you how to handle each of those categories. If you missed that episode, you can watch the replay here on my Facebook page. Um, Before I go to that, I'm Maristella Bertram, certified professional organizer and owner of My Space Reclaim. I am also a feng shui consultant, a redesigner, and a stager. To know more about what I do and how I do it, I invite you to visit myspacereclaim.com, where you can also sign up for the blog. Let's see. I don't know who's here or who's not, but in the comments, if you please could write where you're watching from, even if you're watching the replay, I would like to know. I would love to know that. So please write in the comments, where are you watching from? And please send me some hearts to know that you're there, you're alive. I want to say I empower individuals like you to conquer their environment through organization. So that's what I do. Okay, let's see. If you know someone that should be watching this video, please tag them in the comments below. Do them a favor and tag them. So last week we talked about some general steps to follow in the organizing process. So to quickly recap those, I am going to put these in the chat right now for your benefit. Here. Okay, here they are. So first we decide where to start, then we take pictures of the area as is, and then we prepare your equipment as we discussed, and then prepare the zone or working categories that we're gonna handle, define the room or area's purpose that defines what will be out of that room or stay, take everything out. Everything needs to come out, and then we remove the packing that any items might have. We touch everything, and we decide on each of these things and allocate everything that will go back in the room. And then, and only then, we consider buying some solutions or products to better organize in the space. After that, we review our decisions, and then we label. Those were the steps, preliminary steps that we discussed last week. If you have any questions about those steps, by all means, please put a comment in the chat, and I will, as soon as I can get to that, I will respond directly to you, but on the chat for the benefit of everyone else. Then we said that these steps included the creation of certain working categories that would assist us in the process of organizing and deciding. And these categories, I will put them, there were 17, and I will put them right now in the chat here. Okay, so I'm not going to mention them right now because I'm going to actually discuss them. So here we go. Also, please let me know in the comments if anybody watching this live or the replay had started the organizing process, and I'd like to know if you tackled the whole house, or what did you do, how did it go, and what are any roadblocks that you might be facing, because I'm here to help you with that. So in best case scenario, you have had decluttered each zone and you have been organizing as you go, and then it would be best to finish that part to be able to really focus on your categories after you finish the preliminary organizing process, because each category requires certain actions. It is easier to allocate these items that we need to decide on once the space where we're going to put them in is organized and you have a system going on. It's easier to integrate these things in that room. Something I've heard during this week from some people is that they might not even have the space available to create the categories. Well, I want you to remember two things. Number one is these categories can be zones. It doesn't have to be bins or bags. It could be a zone where you designate that's where I'm going to put X or Y categories. So you can be creative with the spaces if you want. Also, you can consolidate some of these categories. You don't have the space to create 17 different zones. Well, how about you put magazines with books for now, for example. You can put recycling with trash, and you can put pictures with paper. Those are categories that will go well together in principle, but then what it means is that when you tackle each category, you will have to work a little bit more on each one, because then there will be the step of subdividing those categories. So whether you do it before or after, well, you're going to be able to do it anyway. Okay, so keep in mind that some of these categories are meant to leave the house, leave your home, leave your life. So I want to touch a little bit about on some considerations when it comes to letting go. For example, if you are talking about a collection of things like a china set, for example, you could leave in your home. You can take one piece that would not affect the whole as much. Maybe you want the sugar bowl or creamer, just a representative part of the whole. That could ease that transition for you, because if you have this china at home and you're not using it, what's the value of holding it? Another thing that could ease the transition is taking pictures. So you take the pictures of the items you're going to get rid of, so you have a visual reminder of what it is. But of course, if you do that, go to your computer and create a file for whatever you want to call it and put the picture there so you don't lose it. Also, having an idea where things will ultimately go might help you in that transition. It is very good practice to determine beforehand any charities or groups that you want to benefit. So having in mind where things will go might ease your pain, if that's what you're feeling. Also, you can even think of helping the environment. So that could be also something that would put your mind at ease. Now, the famous, it cost me a lot, that is a great roadblock that I find as an organizer. I want you to remember several things. Money is spent when you purchase that item, not when you get rid of it. Keeping the item will not bring the money back to you. Actually, it might be even costing money, because you pay for every square inch of your home, and having these things sitting there without doing any good to you, your life, or anything, well, it actually, the way I see it, costs you money. When you purchase something, you purchase that to acquire the item and to enjoy the item. So for whatever reason, if that purpose of the item had lapsed, well, it's time to let another person enjoy that experience if the item is in good condition. Never be hostage of a gift. And this is a biggie. People love to stay with things because someone gave it to me, so and so. I would not like to hurt their feelings. Well, we appreciate the person and the gesture, and the relationship doesn't depend on this item. If someone really loves you, they would not like to cause you a burden or a problem. So you should be free to do whatever you want with that item. If it's a deceased person, trust me, they have transcended this realm. They're above all these things. So you need to let go, because that item, even though you put it hidden in a closet, let me tell you, your subconscious mind does know that that item's still there. And it creates a negative energy in your life to hold on to something that you don't want. So let's dive into the categories. First category is very obvious. It's trash. So you put in trash anything and everything that doesn't serve the purpose anymore, that no one else could use it because it's broken, it's in bad condition, whatever the reason, that's trash. For this category, you don't need to wait until the organizing process has finished, because you don't want to hold trash in your space. Once you have identified that that is trash, then let it go. So you can benefit from the weekly pickup service that your city provides. You want to systematically be taking these things out of your house. And if you have a dumpster close by, then by all means, and you can use it, by all means, use it. The second category is donation. Donation includes everything that you don't need or want, but it could be used by another person. Um, and although most donation centers are not receiving anything these days because of the pandemic, I will share with you some ideas that I can offer you to go around that. Um, anyway, some donation centers are still receiving things, but just in a different way. You can drive there and leave your things in bags protected on the front door or in the back of the building. And every 2 hours or so, they go and pick up the donations. What they won't be able to give you, though, is the tax receipt that they usually give you, because it's not being managed, the place, as usual. But the important thing here is to get rid of what is cluttering your space. I want to mention that there are some companies that you can call. They can do even a curb pickup service. And there are companies like this all over. I would like to especially mention the College Hunks Howling Junk and Junk King. Are those two are companies I really trust. I'm gonna put the links to their pages here, because there are many kind of companies like this. Maybe you have heard of 1-800-JUNK or things like that. Just give them a call. They are the benefit. I'm sorry, I'm babbling here. I'm just trying to find where I need to put this. Hold on one second. Well, I don't find it now. Anyway, the benefit of having these companies is that they represent convenience. They will take away everything you have, from trash, recycling, donation, everything. They recycle, repurpose, use, or donate up to 70% of what they take. And that means you don't have to then separate your trips, going to recycle, going to donation, going here, there. They just take everything. They do charge by the load, but that's I mean, you need convenience when you're doing this. So the charge is not astronomical. And they provide very good, reliable service, and you're benefiting the environment even, because they will recycle and they will donate. So I just wanted to mention that as a resource for these days, that we are not knowing what to do with the things we want to take out. And also they take appliances and big things like that. Okay, the next category is recycling. And that depends on what your city offers in terms of recycling, because there are things that one city might recycle, but where you are, it's not recycled, then it means you have to put that in the trash category and not recycling. That's another category that you can little by little get it out as you go, get it out of your house, because you don't want or need to wait till the end. Most cities, especially here in Texas, they will do a monthly, not a weekly, pickup of recycling along with the trash. So those things will be leaving your home, leaving your space. The next category is the category to sell, or actually to save for someone. I'm putting those two things in this category, and I will tell you why. It's when you decide you want to sell something, you need to either hold a garage sale or put it online, and rarely would you ever get a return on investment that is adequate to the effort you put in this process. Garage sales are a real pain, and then when you put something online, then you have to be dealing with people, answering questions, taking pictures to prepare these things to go online, taking measurements, preparing the ads, and monitoring the ads. And that is not what you need at this point. You need to get rid of things. So unless it is something of very high value, monetary value, I'm not talking of what it means to you, because it will not mean the same to everybody. So the monetary value is high, and you have it in perfect condition, and you have instructions, and you have the tag with the price or whatever. The best conditions possible are there, then definitely go for it if you have the time. But I would really try to dissuade my clients not to engage in that. And then many times it's some family heirloom or whatever, and they want to save it for the cousin, the auntie, the mom, whomever it might be. What happens is that you end up with different groups and piles of things, each one requiring a different action. Either you have to go to the post office, prepare it for mailing, go to the post office and actually mail it, or you have to wait until you see this person next time. Chances are that this thing will be still there in your home next year, because people forget we have lives and things happen and it will be forgotten. So I try to simplify the process for my clients, tell them, please don't complicate your life and don't have a million more decisions after you go through the process, because that defeats the purpose. You will still have these things cluttering your life. So in the case that you do decide to go with the selling option, then when you put that there, just think of a time frame after which, if the thing is not sold, then you let it go and give it to donation. Okay, the next category is relocate. This is the most important category because this classification requires a lot of work after you have completed your organization process, the preliminary organization process. This category is for items that they are taken out of the space you're organizing because they don't belong there. So when you finish everything, you need to fight the temptation during organization to just run to the place where it goes and put it there, because there will be other things appearing that belong to the same room, the same category from other areas. So that would be a waste of time. At the very end, you will subdivide this category further according to the various rooms or spaces that you have organized. And then you will put each subgroup where it goes. For example, in the process of working your organization, you find a collection of things in your kitchen that actually belongs to the garage. I've seen it. And then you would, in this process, you would put those items along that plank that was under your wood plank that was under your bed, and you will combine that with the paint that was in the linen closet, and you would take all that to the garage. It doesn't mean at this stage that it will be organized. It won't, unless you already have finished your garage, in which case you will have a place for the paint and a place for building materials and a place for any other thing. But you might decide that that wooden plank belonged to a project you wanted to do in the room, and you finished that project. And because of that, you put it underneath the bed because it was accessible and convenient. So you might decide, okay, I don't need to even have a place for building materials because this doesn't belong in my house anymore. I don't need it. Well, put it with a donation, because I assure you, Habitat for Humanity will be very happy to have that plaque. And that's how you go about this process. So you go relocating the different things that go like with like according to the room. Then, so I hope you're following me. I know that they're making me laugh here. Sorry. If you are with me, put a number 1 in the comments to know that you're there and you're okay. Put a number 1 if you follow me. Now, the shredding category. As I said last week, do not put everything with your address and name there or telephone, because it doesn't need to be shredded. That information is readily available on the internet. Just put there sensitive information, like things with your social security, financial information, health information, things like that. If you have a shredder, that would be then less amount of things to shred. And if you don't have a shredder and you use a service, well, think that you will have to pay for that service. The more papers you put there, the more you'll have to pay. So it's good to be very aware of what you're putting there. So there is no point in keeping that in your space. So what I would recommend, if you don't have a shredder and you're gonna take your shredding material somewhere, put it in bins and put those, or boxes, and put those in your car. So when this pandemic situation is over, then you're ready to go. You just ready to go, and you take it there. Okay, now let's talk now about children's memories. That's another classification, and we use this classification to put everything there around the house that is somehow belonging to your children. Writing pieces, projects, trophies, medals, all these things. Just don't get creative and fancy at that point. Just put it all together. So when you are dealing with the category as such at the end, you start separating what belongs to whom, because if you have more children, then I suggest you make different boxes and then you start separating by child. But you can and you should at this moment see if there's anything that you could take a picture of or scan, so you don't have to keep the actual thing. Imagine the amount of things you can discard if you try, if you can get away with that, if your children allow you to just take a picture and record it. Now, be very diligent with this thing of the pictures, because you take a picture, be responsible, and put it in your computer with in a file, electronic file, with the name of your child, so that just is not floating in limbo in your iPhone forever. It has a home in your computer. Now, the warm and fuzzy category is a different level of souvenirs or mementos. that in that category, what goes there is things that will make you have a physical reaction, even so emotive and dear to you, that these things go with you throughout your life. It could be things from since you were a baby, since adulthood, until adulthood, for example. These things are things that make you laugh and cry no matter what. And every person in the home actually should have a warm and fuzzy box. I'm going to try something here. No, I'm not going to try that. I will put in the links. Why am I not accessing the link here? I don't know. I just want to put, I'll put it later. I wanted to put some links to boxes that I suggest you can use for this warm and fuzzy category. These boxes that every person should have one should live in an intimate place, like on the top shelf in your closet, for example, under your bed. It's not the best thing to have things on the floor, but it could be a place. On a shelf in your office, in your home office, if you have the space. If it's your children's warm and fuzzy, then in their closet, top shelf, something like that. So honor that category by selecting a nice box. That's what I wanted to put the links on. I don't know why I'm not accessing this. But I know. Okay, now I know. 1 second, because I want you to have this information. At least you see what I'm talking about when you go to these links and you, oh, wait. Okay, fine. Okay. The next category is coins. Try having one single place for all the coins in your home, because the amount will increase exponentially faster. This is so much better than having pennies and quarters and nickels all over in every room, in your cosmetic drawer, in your drawer, in the for your desk. Anyway, you get the idea. So when you have that full, select a container that it's spacious and it looks good, so it enhances your decor, and put it in a central place so everybody knows where to put the coins. So when that is full, you take a Ziploc, you put that there, and you go to a Coinstar machine. If you love rolling coins, I find that hard to believe, but be my guest. You can take it to the bank the old way, but then you can go alternatively to one of these machines, and you sort it through the machine, and they will take a percentage if you choose a cash. But if not, if you choose one of their many retailers, I think they will waive the commission and you get all your money. So go buy wonderful things on Amazon or whatever you want to do. Okay, pictures. Get ready for this one. Get ready for this one. I mentioned last week that all the loose pictures and those framed ones as well should go together in one bin. Okay. When you have a framed picture stashed in an odd place that it's not being cherished or exhibited or anything, then you should remove it from the frame and put that picture along with the other pictures in this category or zone or bin, whatever. So also, I'd like you to include all the pictures that are in albums, because the thing with albums, it was a big thing back there when, and even for my father, it was a big thing. And I paid over $2,000 to transport all these albums my father had, because he was an avid photographer. When we lived here and they passed away, I I did that. I transported all these albums. I had like 400 albums, and it took me a long time to take all these pictures. And per album, I would make a Ziploc bag, right? And when you do that, then you can put mark the Ziploc bag according to what it is, the occasion, or however the album was prepared. The thing with albums is that usually, especially the ones about babies and toddlerhood of our lives, they're not finished, they're not identified. The glue from the album and the plastic sheet, these things are very detrimental to the pictures. So you're doing yourself a favor if you take those, put it in a Ziploc, and then you will have lots of Ziplocs, right? But you can put them in a plastic bin. And when this is over, this organization adventure is over, you can, at your leisure, at your pace, take one bag at a time and scan these things. And then you would prepare electronic files in your computer with the name of the album. You will decide however you want to organize this. But I would like to say that however you decide the criteria will be, you should probably be very careful at that moment, because if you change the criteria for organizing these old pictures, then you would have to start over, because then the rest, you need to have a system that will carry you forward. Okay, because we're going to be dealing with all these pictures that were around the house, that were in albums and such. But you want a system that allows you to incorporate these new pictures that you have hidden in your phone that nobody sees. So you can download that there and distribute these phones according to, if it's a person, if it's activities, if it's year, whatever the criteria is. It's a process that might take years. I have been doing this for years. Whenever I have the chance, I'll take a bag and I'll do that. I have pictures from 1919. Pictures is my thing. That's a touchy subject. I just love for pictures. And that's the only thing I took from my parents' house. I gave away everything else. I just did. So pictures is my thing. So I hope you understand this process of the Ziploc bags and classifying all this, because it's a project that will keep going on forever. And then when you finish that, or even concurrently, you take your pictures from your iPhone and you put them there in the electronic files, because the thing is, pictures that are hidden in your camera or other media, they don't tell your story. They don't. And by the way, speaking of which, I have a blog that is called Picture Organization. What's your story? So in that blog, I talk about this and I kind of better explain this system. So here it goes. I'm going to put a link to that there. There you have it. Okay. And now you might be asking, what do you do with the originals when you scanned your pictures? Sit tight where you are, wait for it, you throw them away. Yes, you do that. You can, because if you have them electronically, okay, and you are like me, I'm very serious about my pictures, right? I already established that. I have backups and backups in a safe deposit box in my home. I do. And every month I take care of my pictures and I download my pictures and I distribute my pictures. And then I save them on the external drives that I have just for pictures. From 1919 till today, I have my pictures safe. But there's another layer of benefits to this. You not only have your pictures safe, occupying virtual no space, You can fix those pictures. You can remove red eyes. You can even change the background if you want. You can enhance the picture, enlarge, shrink, whatever you want, and that allows you to move or change the collection of pictures you show around your house. And when you have to change, all you have to do is throw it away, because you know that picture came from your files and you have it saved there. Also, you can make projects. You can make mugs from with a picture of your children for grandma and grandpa. You can make even blankets. You can make all kinds of things. Having the picture digital gives you all these options. And you can make books, photo books. And photo books tell a story. I have pictures of my kids classified elementary school, middle school, high school, and that includes activities, pictures of activities during the summer, extracurricular activities. So I can really tell a story through books for them, and that is something they can share with their families when they leave the nest, and we can all enjoy. Put pictures inside your phone, and if you don't have a backup and your phone crashes or whatever, then what? You're losing a lot of history there. So don't do that. Well, that's my opinion, my humble opinion. Okay, so now the classification of paper. Dun, dun, dun. The atrocious group, according to my beloved client. This is the category that many of you are waiting for. And please put an eye on the comments if you're one of those. I know at least one of my good friends was just saying, paper, I'm waiting for you to discuss that. Anyway, I said to put in this category every piece of paper that you find, appliance manuals, instructions of any kind, loose recipes, notes, business cards, everything that is paper that is around the house, you should consider, or you should have put it there. I also suggest to tackle this classification or category last because it is the most time consuming. Let me show you what I'm talking about, and I'm going to try here to share the screen with you. Let me see if this works. 1 second, bear with me because you will want to see this, okay? Give me a second. No, I can't. I did not know if this was going to work, and I did not want to make to do a test, but it doesn't work. I'm so sad. I wanted to show you several clients' paper stash. It was atrocious. I'm not gonna lie. Hold on. But I can't because I can't toggle between live. I have to select either screen, share screen or live. I cannot toggle between the two. But anyway, I'll be happy to share that in the comments afterwards. Okay, so wait for it. If you don't like organizing, and then you end up with this monster of paper after the organizing process, while you are dealing with that, because you have to, unless you want to just light a match and be done with your misery, you will be thinking hard whether you want to be in the situation again or not. And I assure you, chances are you will not want to live through that again. So you have to have a system to tackle the paper as soon as it comes home. Because if not, I assure you, this will happen again. And I'm talking, the pictures I wanted to show you were bins and bins and bins. One client, bins and bins and bins of paper. And it's not the only time. I had 3 or 4 of those incredible examples. And even the one that had the least amount that I have ever done had 2 big bins, because you see it because it's all spread. But when we really get serious about putting all the paper together, you want to run. That's when I say goodbye to a client, I say, I cannot save you from that. Bye-bye. But no, I help them. Okay. So you need to take this category and start dividing into other subcategories. So you grab an empty bin for recycling and another one for shredding and a big enormous trash can, preferably lined with a bag, because you want convenience. So you will have to go paper by paper. So have your coffee or your tea, be relaxed, be fed, and take one paper in your hands and then decide, is this something I need to keep for whatever reason? If you're keeping that paper, then put that paper on the floor, and you're going to start making piles all over the floor for papers that go together. So basically, you are going to start making some files. It's the filing system in the making. I want you to tackle this at the end, because imagining having to use floor space for this while you still have categories of things everywhere, it's just going to make you want to run faster. So take your time to do this, but you have to do it, and hopefully never again will occur. So when you decide on this paper, if you do not want to keep it, then you decide, is this something that needs to be shredded? Then put it in your shredding bin. If this is something that's just paper I don't want, then put it in the recycle bin. And you go like that, paper by paper, until eternity. Paper is the longest. It takes the longest. So yes, I cannot sugarcoat it. And then you will find other things that are not paper for filing, but for example, coupons. You need to see if this is expired or can I use it. Coupons that are still good, you should have a coupon wallet in your miscellaneous drawer in the kitchen. That's a good place. And then you can put there gift cards, certificates, things like that. So when you go shopping, you just check your drawer and grab your coupons or whatever it is, and you go. Other things that you might find in this category of paper is business cards. If you look at the business card, you don't even know who the person is, you can let it go. But if it's a person you want to keep the information from, then put the business card as one category and pile all those business cards together. And that's going to be another little project that you'll have to do at the end, because you can have programs that just you scan that and gets into your computer, and you don't have to be entering manually all these things. But you can, if there are not too many, just input the information in your iPhone. And by the way, I recommend that you monthly back up your iPhone information, your contacts, because you don't want to lose all this information that you have there. It's very simple. There are apps that are free. You can send all that information to yourself as an email or spreadsheet. It's super easy. So check into that. When you find dealing with these odd things that are not paper, you can find, for example, if you click an ad from a magazine a long time ago, you need to ask yourself, is this something I really want? I still need this product or service, or is no longer relevant? If it's still relevant, what I suggest you do with that kind of thing is put those in your agenda so you take action. Because what good is it, that thing rolling around? I mean, what else are you going to do with that? You put a date in your calendar and you mark it with the actual ad when you will decide to at least investigate more, look information online, call the company, whatever it is. That's in the case of ads. If you have an article that you clipped from a magazine or something, if you really think you need to keep it, then start a pile of articles about sports, for example, to say something. So you are creating your filing categories as you go. If you do not have a filing cabinet, well, every paper needs a home that is a file, and every home needs a filing system of some sort. So go to Walmart, they have $10 or $15 filing boxes, and buy two of those, and then buy the hanging files. Don't buy folders unless you need to divide a classification in the hanging file, because they add a lot of space and they are unnecessary. You can put your papers, put the hanging file, and each hanging file will have a little part where you write a classification, and you do this according to what makes sense to you. Let's see where I am. I love to talk, and then I get all lost here. Okay. So that is in terms of paper. Now, the next classification is media. So you put all your media together, your VHS, your DVDs. I hope you don't have VHS, but you can have them. If you do not have the equipment to watch these things, well, you have two options. You can get a replacement, it's something that you love in the new platform, right? Or you can let it go. Or there is a third option here. And especially these are for homemade videos, things like that. There are companies like Walgreens, Costco, Walmart, all of them, and many more that you can find online. They offer the service of transferring your old pictures and movies and anything into electronic format. So that is something to be considered. But regardless, you need to organize what you do intend to keep in one place, preferably in the vicinity of your TV and your music equipment. That would be ideal. And then if you decide that you want to engage in the project of transferring these things, well, then that's a separate project that comes from the main organizing adventure, but you want to put it in calendar so you don't forget, okay? What gets scheduled gets done. What doesn't get scheduled gets forgotten. So just put a time frame in your calendar to at least start the process of doing that. Now let's talk about books. And you had, at the end of this project, you would have ended with books everywhere that were everywhere in one single place. You start dividing the books between children's books, if you have children, and adult books, okay? The children book, you will have to see if they have outgrown the books or they're still good. If you have younger children, then you probably want to keep that for the younger ones. But if not, then consider those outgrown books. Consider sending them to the local library or the neighborhood school. In terms of adult books, then you would have to determine where are these books going to live. It is possible that you have a nice setup that you can put them in the living room, family room, and people are, I guess, they're likely to read there. Or you can put them in your office if you have an office in your home. But here's an idea. I have many clients that have this fetish with books. So the amount of books they keep is quite obscene sometimes. So I came up with ideas, and I've done Pinterest boards with them to collaborate in this project and give them ideas on how to make a book wall. So instead of having something that is annoying, that is all these books, where do I put them? They don't look good. Well, you make them look good. You make something that ends up being a conversation piece and also serve the purpose of holding all these books. And they are enticing because they look so pretty. So they're more prone to be read, right? Uh, in this exercise, I want you to be ruthless with your books, because there are books that we really hold dear and we like to read them over and over. But there are many novels and things that once they are read, we can discard them. So you have an option there to donate them, or if you want to take them to half price books, they will just give you pennies for them. But I advise you, as always, to reconsider this selling option, because it's another trip that you will have to make, and that doesn't make too much sense, because you need convenience. You need to take things out of your space. So the next category in this number 14, we are almost there, is the magazines. I do not find a logical reason to have, I've seen so many magazines around places, and you should have maybe the previous edition of a magazine and the current one. But if you keep magazines because you like, either you saw an ad or you saw an article, something like that, well, in this exercise you will do the curating of your collection. But I would love it if you, from this point on, you do what you're going to do with all these magazines of your past, so you don't find yourself in this situation again. When you have a magazine and you're reading it and you find an article that you like and you think you want to keep it, then take the article and staple it together. And then if it's important to you, you should probably make a file with that clarification. Again, with the sports article example or whatever. If it's a recipe, I will show you a wonderful way I have developed to deal with my own recipes that invites you to use them more often, and they create no clutter at all. But that will be another video, probably not the next week, the following week. I promise I will share that with you. I very much want to do that. But again, if you saw an ad that caught your attention in that magazine, then what you need to do is clip it and make it an action item. You put it in your calendar, you verify the information you need about that ad, you move forward with things. There's no reason to keep the magazine. If someone else wants to read it, fine, then they will read it and then recycle the magazine. So next year you don't have this. That was the category of magazine. Now the number 15, topical medicines and equipment. You probably go around your house doing your organization. You will find a myriad of things here and there, and band-aids and gauze and alcohol and so many things in between. But topical medicines primarily are things we put in our body, our hair, our teeth, our nails. They are not to be ingested. That's how I make the difference. And why is it important to make the difference? Because those medicines will go with the equipment, like band-aids and gauze and wraps and things like that, preferably in a bin in your bathroom cabinet or closet. People love to have supplements and medicines in the bathroom, but the humidity may decrease the potency of this things that we ingest. And also, if you think about it, ingestible medicine, and supplements, we take them, it has to always be either with food, after food, or immediately before food, or with water. And usually we have filtered water in the kitchen. So it does make sense that these things are in the proximity of the kitchen and not the bathroom. So what goes in the bathroom when you take your category of topical medicine and equipment is all these things. After you have discarded anything that is expired, because we love to keep things that are expired forever and ever. So you have to make sure you clear the things that are expired from that group. And I want to mention something here about the emergency kits. I do not like emergency kits because they create a sense of false safety. And I say this because they do contain things that expire. Sometimes we buy a safety kit and we leave it there and we never check it. And then the moment we need it, chances are what we need is expired. So I prefer that you take your safety emergency kits and you dismantle that and you take whatever is non-perishable, like the Band-Aids and gauze and gloves and tweezers, things like that. You put those with your things in the bathroom, your topical medicines and equipment. And then if you do need an equipment, a safety first aid kit, you prepare your own. Chances are you're going to be proactive and be checking that one instead of just thinking, oh, I bought one, so I have one, so I have to do nothing about it. You put what expires there, you're more prone to redo your kit and revise the contents. Maybe every 6 months when you check your medicines in your kitchen to make sure they're not expired. I don't know, but that's something that needs to be done as a recurrent item in your agenda. Then we have category 16, which is the medicines we ingest. If you have found pills everywhere, bottles, whatever, you need to put them in one area, and then you have to carve a little space in your kitchen for these. They need to be in the kitchen, and also in when I speak about kitchen in 2 weeks, I will also tell you my method to make sure that these pills are consumed consistently and efficiently, and they don't create any clutter. I have a method for that. That is working quite well, my home. I was going to say something here. What was it? I don't remember. It escaped my mind. So, but I very, very much want to share that with you. As well in this group, make sure I remember, make sure you don't have expired medicine there. And when you receive the medication in the mail, if you are subscribed to this 90-day refills, especially, and in the case of supplements, this happens a lot. You receive many bottles of the same product and they're halfway full, for example. I immediately open the bottles and consolidate. So maybe 6 bottles I turn into 3 or 4. That is a very good way to control the space, the clutter, and shrink the space they need. So if you have even prescribed medications that other people are taking, or if you have 2 or 3 bottles of the same, provided that it's the same expiration date and the same dosage and the same person, you can consolidate that. And it's amazing the amount of space we get at the bottles that we can discard this way. And finally, Pendy projects. This category, cannot talk now. This category groups everything that you or your family members have started and did not finish. And usually it has legs, as I say. It has components that go with the project. And so many times we find these things completely separate from each other. that doesn't make sense. So as you go, you will find these things and their components. Try to group these things in Ziploc bags that you can maybe put in a plastic bin. And then that bin should live either in your craft room, if you have a craft room, or in where you put the board games, something that is accessible to everybody. So if it's a hobby of yours, the project, it belongs to a hobby, so you know where you will get it when you feel, okay, let me relax and work on my hobby. If it's a project that has to do with school or fixing something around the house or something that you have promised someone because you're going to help them achieve something, in that case, this is not hobby. This should be organized in a way that you tackle it, you see it, and you remember it. So go to your agenda again, put a reminder about finishing that, because you don't want to miss a deadline, or you don't want to not help whoever you said you were going to help, or the thing that needs to be fixed in the house needs to be fixed. It's just not about the hobby. So there are two ways of two things that can happen to projects. Treat them accordingly. Okay, so there you have it. 17 categories that will keep you awake at night until you finish this thing. So write a number 1 there in the comments if you're still with me. If you are not asleep, I hope not. Let me see. Okay, we are right on the hour. Let me review the chat real quick, see if I see anything that are questions. Okay. Love pictures too, Wilma. Yes, I'm with you. Okay. Miss Joanda, you're there. Good. Sigrid and Waleska. Yes, donation books. Good. Okay. Yeah, it's a good idea. Christina says that she goes to half price books and she use whatever they get to buy more. And I cannot get rid of them. Well, hopefully you're enjoying them. Okay, everybody. Oh, good. People are still here. Yay. Okay. So let's see. I would like you guys to join me next week, the same day, Saturday, same time at 7 Central Time, when I hope to share a shorter video. I don't know if that's possible. I love talking. A shorter video to discuss some systems to deal with your laundry and the incoming paper in the house, so the monster paper doesn't attack you. So don't miss it. I hope you feel motivated to start decluttering and organizing your environment, and keep me posted of your progress. Please do keep me posted, and write questions that you need answered and comments. Even if you're watching the replay, you can still do that, and I will see it and I will answer to you. And I would like to know, what roadblocks are you facing while you're doing this, or have you faced in the past that made you not continue organizing and finish your project? And please visit myspacereclaim.com to get answers to your questions, the Q&A, see pictures, anything you might want to see there, and also subscribe to my blog. So thank you a lot for being here with me this Saturday evening, sharing this space, and I hope you stay healthy and organized. So I hope you enjoy this. I am going to finish this now. Bye.